This show does not intend to sell, promote, or encourage the use of psilocybin mushrooms or any other plant medicine mentioned on this program. All mentioned experiences are for education and entertainment purposes only. Okay, so how are you? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Welcome to Truth Serum. The Truth Serum Show. I just made that up.
Yes, sound like what's his name on Soul Glow.
The Blast, the BEST.
Soul Glow.
Oh, Soul Glow.
Yeah.
Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through, yeah. Just let your soul glow. Feel it oh so silky smooth. Just let it shine through, yeah. Just let your soul glow. Soul glow. Hopefully that went over well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it would be great because you're here in Mexico to like interview you a little bit because I've been needing to like work on other episodes of Truth Serum, but I've been so busy from working to traveling to doing all these things. So I thought it'd be great to interview you because it is the cancer season. You know, cancer season is ruled by the mother dynamics. You know what I'm saying? It's for our programs. It's the house of the womb and the mother. Okay, is where we go to check our programs and also reprogram ourselves and work on our childhood wounds or our mother wounds. Okay, now we'll probably get into a few of those things if I feel like it, but I want to start off with just talking about your experience being here because I've been telling people like part of me moving to Mexico was or just out of the country period was very important because as a child, one of the things I remember hearing you talk about a lot was, when y'all get out of my house, I'll go travel the world. That's what you would say all the time. Okay. And now that we're out of your house, you wasn't traveling the world, but now you are. Now this is a part of it. So I feel like part of me making this transition help you to fulfill a part of your desire in life, the things that you want to do. So I just kind of want to see and talk to you about how does it feel? How does it feel to finally get out of the country and start your journey of traveling the world, as you said, when I was a child and those things? How does it feel to be out?
It feels great. So, yes, it feels wonderful. I wish I had longer time, but I must get back because there are things that I left unfinished that I need to finish. But
you always got things that you need to finish.
But these are priority things. So, so
when do you make you a priority? When does the mother?
This is a priority. I've made me priority. So now I need to go back and kind of finish that because this trip was one that really wasn't really planned. It was like a spur of the moment, but because I decided that I needed to make this trip before I did those other things because I feel like that if I hadn't done this, then you could say that when you are making yourself first. So
yeah,
okay. So I did this.
I'm still saying it because I know even though
this can't say that and I'm sitting here.
That's true. I can, but I can't because that's one thing about you, and I've always known about you. You have been a master at attempting to make yourself a part of the priority while making your family the supreme priority. So when I say when do you make yourself a priority, what I'm really asking is when do you make yourself the priority and nobody else? When does everybody else get lifted off of the priority list?
Yeah.
See, I don't. That's the part where
Never. But as long as I keep me number one, then I think everything else, is in order.
Well,
That's the way I feel.
do you feel like you're number one? Do you feel like you're
Yes,
priority?
yes, I feel like I'm number one.
Okay, well, that's not something for me to debate on. I can't tell her
Thank
that
you.
she is not
Thank
number
you.
one. All I can say is it's been a struggle for her to get to number one, and she is now. Okay, it's been a struggle to see that. But I will say congratulations again. I said congratulations when we first got here, and congratulations again because you're leaving tomorrow. And
Yes.
how has your trip? I know we've for the most part, we've been stuck in the house because we had the rain when we first got here. We had Chris, who was here when we got here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hurricane Burrow came on through that thing and just caused the rest of the chaos. So it's been pretty much raining since you got here. Now, we did have one beach day.
We did.
You know what I'm saying?
I enjoyed that. That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But we had planned to take the trip to
Cozumel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that we didn't get a chance to do that, but that's okay. That's a reason to come back.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So I felt like this trip may have been more about integration than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that this is a space that can feel like home, even though it was hot,
Mm-hmm.
because, the heat here is something that you're not used to. And
Correct.
something I'm not used to either. I wasn't used to it, but I had to adapt. I've been here a lot longer, But overall, how would you say your trip was?
Overall, it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say that it was anything else. I enjoyed 95% of it.
95%. Well, that's good.
The other 5% was the heat, but other than
5%.
that, I just
then-
wish I had longer. Like I said, there was a lot more things that I had planned to do that I didn't get to do. But like I said, that's okay. I'm gonna go home and zip through those things, and then look at the end of this year, I'll be over here for New Year.
Y'all heard it here. She said she'll be here for New Year. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be here for New Year. But
Well, if
she
you
said
won't be
she'll
here for New Year, then I won't be here for New Year.
I mean, y'all can still come for New Year. I just don't know where I be. I might be somewhere with a mister or a Mrs. or both of them or 3 or 4 of them. I may be here
We'll
with.
just make room for us.
See, I never know how to do that. I'm either with the Mrs. and the mistresses, or with the family.
Well, you
That
have time.
divide and I don't know
July,
how to do
August,
that.
September, October, November.
So
December. You have
whoever
5
you are,
months.
misters and Mrs.
Come on, Mr.
Y'all gonna have to figure it out so that we can, so my family can decide if they want to come and be here for New Year's. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a great time. Now,
I did.
even though I told them that, I said it on what I thought I was recording, but I wasn't recording. And I was like, even though, the trip was short, and we didn't get a chance to do much, we had some great times here in the house, you know what I'm saying? Even had a little spat, you know what I'm saying? Because, Capricorn and Aries is we're
normal.
cardinal signs. And not only we cardinal signs are signs that have squares, okay? So we have some squares, but we've been squaring this thing since I came about her body, okay? That has not changed.
Absolutely.
And she is
But
a
there's
fire
still
moon
love.
sign, okay? She is a Sagittarius moon sign, okay? And me being a Pisces moon, that thing is like, sometimes that ain't a square at all, okay? But it sometimes act like it. It comes from a perspective. Right. There is always love, but I think it's very important for people to recognize and realize that when they are working through their dynamics of mother and daughter, that it's going to be sometimes some situations, and everything gonna always be easy peasy, even though you may desire and want it to be. But sometimes there may be some differences of opinions and differences of communication that can show up. But the important thing is to stay present and communicate. Until you can't, because at some point I have to check out and reset myself, you know what I'm saying? And then come back and be like, all right, so what can I do for me? You know what I'm saying? But what are some of the things what helps you to get past our spats? Like what helps you to get through it? What helped me to get through it is to disconnect for a minute. Like after I feel like I done, bumped that head 2 or 3 and 4 times and there's no getting through to you, what I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I have to completely shut all things off and I have to talk to myself and be like, okay, what is it that you need? And then I talk to myself about what I need. And then whatever it is that I feel like I needed from you, whether I got it or didn't get it, I'm able to give it to myself and I'm able to come back. But what helps you? What helps you to?
What helps me is to know that I birthed you into this world, and I raised you from birth till I feel like I'm still raising.
That's okay to say. You can say that because
So I mean, when you bring a child into this world, everything about this child you already know.
It's yours.
Yes. I said you already know. So, look, when I came here, I knew what I was facing. So, look, I love you from the moment that I saw you when they brought you out and showed.
You should have said that's a little crazy little child right there. She is a lot.
Yes, and
was I crying?
No, they had to tap you to make you cry. Then you act like you didn't want to cry.
Because it was getting on my nerves. I was just like, I don't even believe I did this shit again. I done came here again. I already knew I was annoyed.
So no, you were a darling, sweet little child. No trouble when you were a baby. Now when you got to be a teenager, now
trouble is on
everything.
Help is on the
way. So,
which I think is normal because that for the first 7 years of your life, everything is still very fairy tale and very whimsical and all those things. You still live in that world where you're not disconnected from all make-believe. And I think at some point those things change. You start really recognizing, human behaviors, and you start recognizing people not being happy, and you should start recognizing stuff that started to come into place. And then when it does come into place, it started to change that innocence. It's the same thing I recognized in London. I feel like for the first 7 years, she was love child defined. Okay. When I say you just a ball of happiness all the time. And then one day it changed, you know what I'm saying? And then it went into depression and, lack of communication and all those things. Ways in which she used to always want to communicate all the time, it changed. And I think that's what the development of personality comes in. Because before that, you're not a personality, you're just a being. You know what I'm saying? And then at some point you recognize that now you are developing a personality. Now you have thoughts. Now you have things to process, and all those things come into place. And some of that stuff you recognize that you process, like I was telling the girls in class yesterday, some of that stuff ain't even yours. Same with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the first earliest stages of your life was the same way. You probably was extremely happy and then probably got to a point where you realized when you saw your family struggle for the first time or saw discontentment in your mother, because girls carry the emotions of their moms. That's our job. Whereas the sons don't carry the emotions. The son carries the light energy and the sun energy of them. The mothers are the moons. And because we are the moons, we are the emotions. And unfortunately, we're the ones that force our mamas to see where they are lacking self-care. You know what I'm saying? My daughter forces me to see where I'm lacking self-care all the time. Every time I have to pay a bill, I'm like, goodness gracious, I want to just run off and be laying upon somebody's massage table, but that's not what I can do right now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the beautiful thing is that you get a chance to see your reflection in your daughters, but then also sometimes the not so beautiful thing is that you also get to see your pain in your daughters too, your unprocessed pain, the things that you sometimes get triggered by when you see them, and I think sometimes that comes out in other people. They're like, my mom is jealous of me. And I don't think it's jealousy at all. I just think it's youth is your youth that you see that's now being passed down to your daughter, and you remembered where you were when you was in that state. I even see you do it when you look at your granddaughters. You be like, ooh, look at them hips. Ooh, look at that. Mm-hmm. And I know when you're doing that, you're also thinking about when you was that age and when you had them hips and when you was able to, just do all the things you wanted to do with them hips and that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes in the real world it's translated as daughters not being able to know how to get along with their mothers. You know what I'm saying? Because the mothers are getting old. And I'm not saying that all mamas may not be jealous of their daughters, but some may be. I tell people all the time, I didn't grow up that way. I grew up with you praising me, when it came down to my body, you know what I'm saying? Or the first time I ever had lingerie, you know what I'm saying? You took me to Victoria's Secret, and, so my first lingerie was purchased by you. Or we had the conversation about period panties, and you was like, we're not wearing no panties with holes in them or too big draws. Like, you already feeling bad is enough on your cycle, so you should feel good. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm on my cycle. Y'all see, I got a dress on, I got holes all in it, my titties is out. So that came from her. It's making sure that you make yourself feel good on your cycle. So I feel like those are things that I learned from you or was taught from you that I don't think other daughters were taught by their mothers. And I think they were taught, they're being fast or, just different things like that. I think that may have come across as them having their femininity diminished or toned down. Now, I'm not going to say you didn't. Sometimes I may have wore certain things and you were just like, why you wearing that? You know what I'm saying? Or, are you okay? Are you sure you want to wear that? But I feel like for the most part, you know what I'm saying? If we felt good and was looking good, I don't know why the thumbs up is don't always come up. I guess we need to thumbs it up. But, for the most part, I feel like how we dressed was supported, you know what I'm saying? Or the energy that our femininity was supported, you know what I'm saying? I think sometimes supported and also, driven in the space of, making sure you look good. So I think sometimes that's too much because sometimes we be wanting to run around here just looking rough and raw. And you be like, you don't need to be looking like that. You should comb your hair. You should put some hair on or something like that, which I think is very old school because now we are very natural and, she liked the natural, but not really. Okay. She still is all for the hair and the wigs and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think femininity as a whole, I feel like you gave me a lot, which enables me to pass down a lot to London when it comes down to how I feel like I'm her biggest cheerleader when it comes down to her appearance and, how she shows up and dress up. When she got something on and she looking cute and them legs is legging and them thighs and stuff. I'm like, girl, come on now, baby. You better do it. But I feel like the same way. It was reciprocated. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you feel like growing up that you would have wanted more of when it came down to like being a woman and maybe not necessarily getting those things from grandma because she was maybe working or, she had, grandma had a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying? So she wasn't necessarily able to, I think, maybe be more hands-on with the older kids as she was. So what are some of the things that if you can think of some things that you may have felt like was missing in the parental mother-daughter relationship between you and grandma?
The time, is basically or probably the only thing because she didn't have that time to to be what we call a best friend or friend, to sit down and talk like, we went to the movies and those type of things. Mm-hmm. Those type of things were not available then. So her time, excess time, where she was working, trying to, make money so she can do some other things that we needed or, So basically time, just mother and daughter time. or the things that I miss. But then after I, got grown and had began to have a family of my own, then she and I talked a lot. I would call up on the phone whenever I needed something or was puzzled about something. I would call up and she and I have good conversations. So I really miss those times. I wish that we had those times when, when I were home, teenager or whatever, but still I enjoyed the time, after I got grown, all the times that I went down and spent, with her, our little outings that we had, and, our holidays together. All of those times I enjoy. And I somewhat it made up for those times that she, that I think that she was trying to make a better life for the family, So yeah.
You may be blocking your mic with your hand. I just want to let you know your hand is on that side. You may switch on the other side.
No, that's okay. I'll just take it down. I didn't realize that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel like mother-daughter time is really important. I do feel like it's hard when you have a lot of children too, though, and I think that was the beautiful thing about me in London. Like, we definitely spent a lot of mama-daughter time. We used to have mama-daughter Saturdays. And mama, like, at least during the week, you know what I'm saying? We would go skating or go to the movies or, even before she got into high school, I would do certain things when she would be just in middle school. I would just go and like check her out. I would tell her principal or her teachers that she had a doctor's appointment, and I would go get her. We would go to the park. we had an appointment with Dr. Nature, okay? But we would go down to Centennial Park, or they would have like the water, coming up out of the thing, and so we would just go and chase water, or just let her go and play on the playground. Because I feel like mental health was extremely important, and just as important as being in school. And even though she had the opportunity to play and go to the playground while she was at school, I feel like me spending that time with her, you know what I'm saying, and us doing that kind of stuff together was important. Or we would just go get ice cream, or, go have a quick little lunch or something like that. I thought that was important because it did signify quality time, you know what I'm saying? And even though I feel like you worked a lot too, when I was in school, I don't feel like we had a lot of quality time, because if you wasn't working and dad wasn't working, then I was very active as a child. So I was involved in a lot of different extracurricular activities. So us having mama-daughter time, when, where, how, if I was busy, if you wasn't busy, I was busy. So I feel like it's important, like you said, to have those, even as we get older. I think my purpose of bringing this up is that you never get too old to work on a relationship. You never get to a point to where you should give up on a relationship too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes people get to a stalemate with their parents, especially with their mamas, you know what I'm saying? Because they wanted so much from their moms, not recognizing like, y'all were children too. They grew up, and some things you just didn't learn. And so we be wanting things for y'all that y'all don't even know how to give us, for one. And then two, things that we don't even know how to communicate to you that we need, So it's almost like if there's a shutdown between the child and the mom, or the child and the parents, because it's like sometimes we make it to a situation where we feel like y'all should automatically know. You should automatically know what I want, or automatically know what I need. And I think it just caused so much break in separation of what a family could be, you know what I'm saying? Which is, a family should always work. One of the things that really perturbs me, especially with women, right? Now, I said it about men too, but I'm not a man, so I can't really speak to that. But with women, I feel like women, when it comes to their sisters, when it comes to their mamas, when it comes to their girlfriends, their friends, are so quick to get pissed off and cut them off. Okay, so quick. But don't forget that mic.
Okay.
But when it comes down to the boyfriend or the man that's in their life, they will forgive that nigga 1,000 times. He could do 1,000,000 things to them, and then it's like they go off and I never, and within 4 or 5 hours, they is right back with him. You know what I'm saying? But let your sister do something. Let your mama do something. Let the woman in your life do something to you, and you is ready to catapult her into the pits of hell. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think that is? Why do you think women are so forgiving to the men in their life, and they will let him do something over and over and over again 1,000,000 times? But when it comes down to their sisters or their mamas, they ready to throw them in trash.
Well, I can't speak for others. That's not a part of me or mine, but I have no answers for that.
I think it's that wonder stick.
That who?
That wonder stick.
That wonder stick.
Yes. The wonder stick. You know the happy stick that men have between their legs?
Okay.
I think the happy stick makes them forget that they got a problem to be worked on. And so because they are addicted to the happy stick, they keep going back. But because they don't have no happy stick with the mama and happy stick with the sister or happy stick with the friend, they want to hold a grudge forever. You know what I'm saying? Which is something we need to really work on within ourselves, is the forgiveness and being able to willing to work the same way we're willing to work and keep working and keep working and keep working on the relationship with our man. We should be willing to keep working on the relationship with our mamas too. And
I agree.
I keep working on the relationship with our sisters and our friends in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Especially friendships that are worth it. Now, if your friend is just a piece of shit, then I understand. Because a piece of shit, I don't care how much you work a piece of shit, it's still gonna be shit when you finish working on it. You know?
Absolutely.
But I feel like when it comes down to your DNA, I think there's ways in which you can approach it or ways in which you can work on it, especially if they are willing to work with you. Let me just correct it and say, if people are willing to work with you and there's genuinely love there to work on it, I feel like there should always be empathy in a space that y'all can work through those things. You know what I'm saying? So that the relationships can get better. I know for me, that was my thing. Because I tell people all the time, I went through a time period where I didn't even want to talk to you. I did not want to talk on the phone because I felt like every time we talk, it was going to be something I did wrong or something I'm not doing right or just not. I just felt like I wasn't I was a wrong daughter, or I just could not do nothing right. And I feel like when you've already told yourself that in your head, right? Because it is your psychosis too. When you told yourself that in your head, then the person on the other end, whether it's right or wrong, is always going to be there because you already set the trajectory of what it's going to be, So I feel like after years of working through that, especially when I had my own daughter, that's what changed it too. I was able to see my own demise a little bit better. Do you feel like when you had your own children, it started to also change your relationship with your mama? Or do you feel like, meaning like before you had children, do you feel like there were some things that you were just completely misunderstood on, but then when you had your own children, you started to understand some things? Like I told you, there were some things you said to me prior to having kids. I was just like, I don't know what this woman talking about. And it was like after I had kids, I was like, oh, I get it now. I see what she's saying.
I always have believed that my mother and I had a great relationship. I mean, whatever came up, we were able to work it out. And if we didn't work it out, if she needed a break or I needed a break, but it was never a time when we had a disagreement.
Well, let me say, as a granddaughter, I feel, right? And she knows me and her had this conversation in spirit too. So I'm not telling you something that I ain't told her. I felt like she favored the boys. And I feel like women with daughters and sons tend to do that. I feel like women tend to favor their sons. Now, we know why that is again. The daughters carry the emotion, so I understand. And let me just give you an example of what I mean by that. I feel like when Grandmama last days, I feel like you and Aunt Naomi, for the most part, pretty much took care of her. And what I mean took care of her, I mean like and Naomi was living with her, and if she had to go somewhere and Naomi wasn't able to do it, then I felt like you came in and did that. Now, not to say that the boys didn't show up and do stuff too, but I felt like when she transitioned, she didn't leave y'all things. She left everything to the boys. You know what I'm saying? And I saw how that made you feel, and I saw how that made Naomi feel too. I don't think Aunt Jessica Lee cared because Aunt Jessica Lee had already moved on and didn't really care about it, whatever, you know. And I don't know how Aunt Macaulay felt, but I felt like she didn't, when it came down to her transition, and even though she may have wrote that letter when she was mad with y'all, we don't know when she wrote the letter, but she still had a last will of giving everything to the boys. So why do you think if she had a good relationship with her daughters, why would she leave everything? If y'all was taking care of her, why would she leave everything to the boys?
As you say, I think that she wrote that letter one day when she was having, just a difficult time, or something had transpired that put her into that state of mind. But I mean, I know how things work in this life. We can get angry and sometimes do things that we regret or may not have a chance to regret. But it was okay. And, it's all right. We understood. No, I can't answer for her on why, she felt the way she felt. But
I feel like that's an example of when we say about mothers favoring their sons, that right there is a classic thing. Like that scenario is a classic situation between mothers and daughters and mothers and their sons, where it always seems like the mothers are favoring, because it's not just that situation. When I say that is a classic thing across the board, that's something that I hear in my coaching a lot. When women come in and they're having disagreements with their mothers, if they have a brother, I just had a client today that we had the same conversation. You know what I'm saying? She has older brothers and I think one sister or two, and it's still the same thing. It's still that favoritism of mothers choosing their sons over their daughters. Now again, I as an astrologist know that that comes from the moon and the sun perspective of how the mother sees her children. But at the same time, emotionally, it tends to give off this energy of daughters not feeling like they have done enough for their mothers. You know what I'm saying? Or they feel like there's some energy between them and their mom that is not supported or not, just not given the opportunity to really heal. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a wound later on down the line where mamas feel like, or daughters feel like they can never do enough for their mother. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that you didn't feel that way, because like you said, you may have gotten to a space where you felt like y'all had a great relationship, so whatever happened, you were able to transmute that. But in reality, some of the wounds and stuff that may have happened and transpired may or may not, or may still be there. You know what I'm saying? May still be there, even though you may still feel like you're working on them. I talk to my grandmama all the time because I don't care about the physical body. So those are things that I talk to her about. You know what I'm saying? And also ask her to go inside of y'all relationship and still show up and offer forgiveness for that. You know what I'm saying? Talk to you about those things, because I think it's extremely important to work on those things, even though transition has come in place. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that is a real thing. It's a real thing in the dynamics of how we parent and how we show up as parents, Mm-hmm. So, but I just want to bring it up because I feel like it's a real thing that we work on in the mother-daughter relationship and in the mother-son relationship is, trying to get mothers to understand that there is a balance between how you treat the girls versus how you treat the boys. And even though we know we're going to treat them different, going to be treated different anyway, it's still something that is very felt later on down the line as we start to get older. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is there any advice that you would want to offer to daughters that may be healing in their vibration with their mothers?
Um, just know that coming from me, mothers, if we brought you into this world, then we love you beyond anything, beyond depth. I'll say that. So know that we don't come or we don't birth kids into the world with a handbook. I've always said this, we are constantly learning ourselves and we are doing the best that we can possibly do to uh, to make sure that you have the best and most of all the love that you deserve. Now, like I say, it doesn't come with the handbook. So we make mistakes too. But the thing of mistakes is that you can always come back and, make up for those mistakes or uh, forgive and, for things that we didn't do perfect. So know most of all that, as I say, we love you and you mean the world to us. So forgive us, please, for whatever it is that you feel that we didn't do our very best or according to, that you're 100% like it. So
Mhm.
please, like I say, love your mothers because I know that they love you and they don't always know the things that they need to do. And I'm sure that, heartfeltly that that they love you and you know they did their best. That's all I can say.
I think that is it. Is that we're all doing our best. You know what I'm saying? No matter who we are. And I feel like if you take that into consideration, that doing your best looks like I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna still do something. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. I think all those things still come as a space of us to be able to process, you know what I'm saying? And looking
Mm-hmm.
at it, like you said, there is no handbook. There is no handbook on how to be a daughter. There's just like there's no handbook on how to be a mom. And I read every handbook there was before I had London. I read all the handbooks. I watched all the mama shows, and none of that stuff helped me. When I tell you everything was different, everything was different than what I planned it out to be. And that's what life has been too. Life has been very different than what I read. And I think that's because it's supposed to be. This one thing that I can testimonially say, that learning life as a mother is definitely a unique experience. There is no two experiences that are ever going to be the same. And even me coming from you and having London, my experience of raising London is very different than I feel like I experienced in being with you. You know what I'm saying? And again, I think that's a part of what life gives us, an opportunity to learn and grow in that way. You know what I'm saying? If you choose to be a mother, you're going to choose to learn life differently than you choose to learn life as being a child. You know, those things are different. But I'm still grateful. I'm grateful that we can have this experience, even though we've had some rocky roads along the way, and probably still gonna continue to have some rocky roads until we transition out of here. But you know what I'm saying? I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to have those rocky roads with you and
Mm-hmm.
then be able to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? And use my life as also a testimony to other people who their mamas already transitioned, you know what I'm saying? They didn't get a chance to work those things out. So I feel like it's important for me to be transparent so people can also see that they can still work on these things, whether their mom is still present in the physical or whether their mom is still or transitioning in the spiritual. Because I don't believe that the body limits our experience. So I don't, my phone just cut off, which means I, I hope it saved the video, the entire video.
Oh goodness.
Technology, people. Okay, so we're gonna hope that that video just saved, that it did not, I hope, because without that,
Can't you check in and see what it has?
it's dead.
What happened?
It just cut off. I guess
Did
maybe
it
the
run out or
power.
was it-
I guess it must have ran out of power.
Oh.
So, but anyway, we're coming to an
Yeah.
end anyway. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I appreciate you. I just wanted this to be a memory. Like you always taking memory. So this is a memory, you know what I'm saying, of your first time in Mexico and this our experience. This is definitely going to be something that I'm going to put up, especially if I can edit it and it looks great. It's going to go up, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
it lasts. It lasts.
Put some pretty little.
I can't do all that now. I'm not that good in AI. I'm not
Next
that
time.
AI great, but you know, I feel like this again, it's the truth serum. This is the truth. This is how we're supposed to be in this space right here. You know what I'm saying? But the next time I will make sure you're sitting in a pretty chair and you have, you know, a full makeup team that'll be working on you, and the wardrobe assistants and all of that. You'll have the full get up and regala the next time.
Looking all cute and everything.
Yeah, you can have all of those things.
Okay.
But thank you so much for
now
joining.
my ice cream.
Okay, well, it's ice cream time, guys. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Truth Serum with me.
Truth Serum.
We did not do mushrooms. The next time she do Truth Serum, she's gonna have to do mushrooms. Because part of Truth Serum is to be microdosed. Okay,
Really?
so I'm gonna just give her some chocolate. We're gonna see if I can get her to do some chocolate. It's gonna be fine. All right, we'll see. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Truth Serum. I'm your host, beautiful, the wonderful, the forever getting it done as it's supposed to be done, Gigi Robinson. And this is my mother, Earline Robinson. And we done smashed the mics. Peace. We'll see y'all next time.